and welcome back to a new video. On my Instagram, I asked you guys, what do you want to see in a new video? And I got a lot of questions about my quiet time. I already wanted to make a video about this, so here we go. So before I jump into saying what I do for my quiet time, I want to make sure I tell you guys this. It's all about relationship. I said so in my last video, but if I'm talking about quiet time, I want to say this as well. Your basis of your quiet time really lays in if you're doing it because of religion or because of relationship. Every time I have a conversation with someone about, hey, like I'm a Christian, or I believe in God, or they find out that I'm a Christian through Facebook or Instagram, they mostly tend to say like, oh, like, so you have to read the Bible a lot, so you cannot have sex before marriage, and so you have to pray a lot of times, right? And they always ask these kind of questions, and I'm like, you're only saying things, I have to do this, oh, these are all the rules you have to keep when you're a Christian. But it's the same thing with quiet time. At first, I did this. I was like, I have to do quiet time. I have to spend hours with God every day, beginning of the day, maybe even the end of the day, because I have to do this. I want to be a good Christian. I don't want to disappoint God, so I need to do my quiet time. Just like going to church. I had to go to church. I cannot miss a Sunday. The same thing with reading the Bible. I have to do this. Like, I don't even like it, but I have to. But if you know this, I went to BSSM last year, and I have had some revelations there that I never want to go back from. It is really all about relationship with God. I came there, left everything behind at home, and it was just me and God. Like, I didn't know anyone when I came there, so it was like, God, like, it's just you and me now. Like, you're all I have, and I know you're gonna provide financially with friends, and that I'm gonna learn stuff. And I really did. I really learned a lot about how it is to have a relationship with God, day to day, hour to hour, not Sunday to Sunday. That's really good. And I am not comparing it to parents who teach their children stuff and they actually only give them rules. I'm a teacher as well, so I really see this a lot, that teachers are all about rules. Like, you cannot do this, you can't do that, you can't do that, and if you do that, I get mad, and if you all rules. And rules are good, because if we didn't have rules in this world, it will be chaos. But if there are only rules and there is not love, then the whole relationship, the parents would think that they're raising strong, independent children that know how to obey them. But if there's no love involved, these children will be like, well, I know the rules, but I don't know how it feels like to be loved. And they only think, if I do this, this is the result. And if I do that, then I get punished. So that's the same thing with religion. Religion is all, you cannot do this because then you will not go to heaven. I have to do this because then I'll be a good Christian. So God is such a loving Father that He knows what is right for His children. So He gave us the law in the Old Testament. And the law was actually, these are rules for you guys because I want you to have a good life. You can do whatever you want, but I know what's best for you. So if you keep the law, then you will have a better life. And in our quiet time in the morning, God knows that it's good for us to spend time with Him, because when we do, He can give us energy. When this world craves a lot of energy from us and tells us, be productive, do this, do that, quiet time with Him is actually taking us back to sitting on the lap of our Father and just resting. Being with Him in my quiet time is like charging my phone. I need to charge it sometimes, because otherwise it's dead. It doesn't say that if you're not spending time with God, you're gonna die. But if you spend time with God, He will revive your life. He will give you the energy you need. He will take your weariness and lay it upon His shoulders, because He already did that at the cross. And He actually wants to give us things in return. And the thing that I hear a lot of people say is, well, I don't have time for that. I have a really busy life. Like, you don't even know how busy I am. Like, I'm a full-time mom. I have a really important job, okay? Okay? So if this is you and you're like, yeah, I say that a lot of times, like, I don't have time for you, God, you're basically saying that I don't hate you. Because that was me as well. I already thought, like, I don't have time for doing stuff in the morning when I already have to wake up early, like 6 a.m. to go to school, and like, I don't have time for that, God. You know I'm a busy woman. I cannot tell you, you have to do your quiet time. Because then I will be that parent that says, you cannot do this, you can't do that, and you're all about rules. No, I cannot tell you, do your quiet time. Because it's not something you do to earn a reward. Like, I won't like do that to you. What I can tell you is the privilege that I feel to spend each morning with the God of the universe, the God who created me. He actually sees all my faults. And that's something that's scary as well, because he sees everything. Like, everything you do when no one's watching, he sees it. In the Bible, I always read about like how he forgave me for those things, and how I get a new shot at life every time I come to him and I ask him for forgiveness. And it's just amazing. Like, that really gives me hope that I'm not sitting in my guilt and my shame of the things that I've done in my past, but that God's like, here's a new start. And he will forgive you every time you ask him for forgiveness. It doesn't say he's proud of you for doing those things, but he does want to forgive you. He's a good father, and he will never abandon his child. So every day I charge myself in his love. I'm literally receiving love from my Father. I'm not just doing this because I want to like selfishly absorb everything, but I'm doing this so that I can give out as well. I receive from him and I give out. I receive and I give out. So that's what I'm doing with my videos, with my Instagram, with people who I meet. I just want to tell them what God is telling me, because they can learn from it, or they can experience his love through what I'm saying. So actually, my quiet time is, God, make me a vessel for you to use. And me being a vessel doesn't mean that I am perfect and I can teach you all this perfect things that I have done. No, it's mostly me making mistakes, learning from it, gaining wisdom, and teaching other people those things so that they don't make the same mistakes. So there is this song, and I think it's a really funny song actually. It's about your quiet time. It's not House Upon the Hill, but the song is called Give Me Jesus from Mariah Peters, and I'm gonna read to you the lyrics to the song. They're really complicated, but just listen. This is about your quiet time. In the morning when I rise, in the morning when I rise, in the morning when I rise, give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. You can have all this world, but give me Jesus. And when I am alone, oh, and when I am alone, and when I am alone, give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. You can have all this world, but give me Jesus. So this is basically my quiet time. Just give me Jesus. Like, this is the one that I'm living for. And you might want me to tell you specific things that you could do in your quiet time. But just as you have a relationship with someone, no day you hang out is the same. So my quiet time is actually never the same. Sometimes I am just listening to worship music. Sometimes I'm being still, like my video about House Upon the Hill. Sometimes it's good just to be still and listen to him. Sometimes I'm reading my Bible. Sometimes I'm listening to people teaching stuff about the Bible. Sometimes I'm listening to podcasts, reading books, and sometimes I'm just praying for an hour. So just as every relationship is different, your relationship with God is way different than my relationship with God. So in my opinion, the most important thing to do in your quiet time is not about the length of your quiet time. It's not about the amount of things you do in your quiet time. It's not about the amount of prayers you shoot up to heaven, but it's all about you being with your Creator, having a relationship with Him, and coming in vulnerability. Really telling what's going on without a mask, without anything hidden. He already sees it all, but He wants you to give Him your all. Don't think about quiet time as something that you have to do, but make it fun for yourself. And maybe that means doing it for 10 minutes a day and just reading a piece from a devotional. You can start with that, and as long as you do it multiple times, you notice like, hey, I actually love those times with God and I want to keep on doing them because they're fun. It's just me building on my relationship with God. And then you come because you love Him. And then you come because you need peace. And then you come because you need healing. And then you come just because you love to be with Him. And love means sacrifice. It might mean that you get up at 5 a.m. just to spend 10 minutes with God before you get ready to go to work. But like I said in my last video, it's all about balance. You cannot just say, okay, I'm starting today with my quiet time. I'm spending 3 hours in the morning with God and 3 hours at night, and then you don't even have rest anymore. Like, your body is still a temple. You shouldn't just put yourself in a lot of rules and then you burn out. But in my opinion, if you say, I don't have enough time, it's just an excuse. And you can hate me for saying that, but I make the same excuse. I was like, God, I need my rest. I need to sleep another hour, or I'll snooze like 5 times, and then I'm like, stressed, I have to go to school. That's not love, it's sacrifice. I needed to sacrifice like 10 minutes at the beginning, and I was like, God, these are 10 holy minutes for you. It's not much, but it's all I can give right now. And then I figured out that I actually wanted to read more, and 10 minutes was not enough. I wanted to spend more hours with Him. And now my quiet time is like 1 hour to 3 hours sometimes. If I have the time, I will make it longer because I love to spend time with Him and learn new stuff. There are about 54,000 seconds that you're awake. How are you spending those seconds? And a sacrifice for you might mean I'm not gonna cheat with my phone. A lot of people, they're cheating with their phone. They're going to bed with Him and they're waking up with Him. I want God to be the last thought on my mind. And that doesn't always work because sometimes I am cheating as well. I'm sitting on Instagram and I'm seeing someone in Hawaii on a vacation, and the last thought in my mind is like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not having a holiday. I don't have time for that. Like, my life is miserable. And I go to sleep and I'm like, not feeling well. But when I actually focus on God just before I go to sleep, I mostly dream. So that's cool. Like, God wants to tell me stuff, but otherwise I'm just like going through my day in my dream, or I'm like still comparing myself with other people in my dreams. So yeah, it's really important just not to cheat with your phone. And if you do that, if you spend less time with your phone and you spend more time with God, you actually get quality stuff. Instead of comparing yourself and feeling bad about your life and just, everyone's prettier than I am. I'm like, okay, God, you love me, you are here with me, I'm not alone, I'm pretty, I'm awesome. Like, thank you, God, for loving me just the way I am. So, conclusion. Am I always sitting in my prayer closet every morning? No. Newsflash, I'm a human, I make mistakes, I get distracted sometimes, but I love that God is always like, come back to me, like, I will give you rest. And I just say, sorry God, like, yesterday was a failure and I know I can come back and I'm sorry and let's start again. So love is sacrifice. But is He worth your time? Okay guys, this was the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it and are inspired to do your quiet time. I will link the Give Me Jesus song in the description because I think you will be able to sing along very quickly. I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and put on the bell. I love doing that. And yeah, I will see you next week.